As we move into August, it's extremely important for producers to evaluate their farms and ranches when it comes to risk. OSU Extension Ag Policy Specialist Amy Hagerman gets us up to speed.
This is a great time of year to think about risk management and to plan risk management going forward into future years. Producers need to look at their operation, look at their specific piece of property, think about the risks that are the biggest concern for them, and identify those pieces that they can implement into their operation to better manage those risks. That could be price risk through something like futures and options, or through the livestock risk protection program if they have livestock. They can be making sure they sign up for their ARC or PLC this fall whenever that opens up for the next crop year. And it can also mean insurance products. Do they have the kind of insurance coverage they need for the activities they have on their operation? Now
that's risk management. Now when we're talking about crop insurance, some of those dates have already passed, right?
Yeah, so dates for our both our wheat and our annual forage has already passed for this year, but certainly looking forward into the next year and thinking about that next crop year, a lot of those you'll want to start thinking about in the spring particularly.
So what does that mean for producers? It's really hot and dry right now, and if drought extends, which it's probably predicted to do further into the fall, what does that mean for those producers?
So definitely communication is absolutely essential. Within 15 days, you need to provide a notification to your crop insurance agent of when you feel like that loss has really exceeded a point that you're going to need an indemnity on your operation. They're going to need to go through their process, make sure that they've got that loss documented before that land is converted to some other use. So if you're wanting to convert that into another crop this fall or some other purpose, that loss has to be done first before conversion occurs.
Does pasture fall into that as well at all?
So pasture has its own set of insurance programs, and then it also has a set of disaster programs. And many of our counties in Oklahoma are eligible, for example, for the livestock forage program, which is, again, a notification of loss, but that one doesn't have as tight of a deadline right now. Producers have until just after the first of the year to get their application in for the livestock forage program on their operation, and that's really to help offset costs of additional feeding. And we know that hay costs are really high right now.
It's also really important for producers and landowners to think about disaster relief as well.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. We've already had several wildfires in the state. We have the conditions, unfortunately, that we could have more. Again, communication is really essential here. So a notification of loss going to the FSA office to help start off some of those disaster programs for immediate relief. Now that can include a couple of things. If livestock are lost, it can be the livestock indemnity program, which again, you've got to have within 30 days that notification of loss and then documenting those losses of cattle before the carcasses are removed from the operation. Then also, if fence lines are damaged, the emergency conservation program can be implemented in a county, getting emergency relief to help rebuild some things that aren't typically covered. Critical thing here is that it's an eligible natural disaster loss. This is really related to sort of weather and natural disaster losses. So things like wildfire are certainly covered under it. Also flooding, if there was flash flooding that caused some cattle to be lost. Things like lightning strikes, also some predators. Unfortunately, a lot of disease does not fall under that. And so you need to actually make sure that what you have experienced is eligible under the LIP program.
And then you also have some information about emergency relief.
Yeah, so the emergency relief program is ongoing. Where these other programs we've all talked about, these are ongoing programs. They're available year to year. This isn't one of those one-time programs. So the emergency relief program started in the spring with emergency livestock relief. Then we also had the emergency relief program this summer for crop producers that had RMA coverage on their operation. And now we're moving into a phase where we're going to be doing emergency relief for producers who had NAP coverage on their operation. And so those letters are coming out right now.
All righty, thanks, Amy. Dr. Amy Hagerman, Ag Policy Specialist here at Oklahoma State University. And if you'd like a link to some information she talked about, go to our website, sunup.okstate.edu.